Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. We're in with the America's West, mainly the evening, most likely for most of you who are hanging out here with us for the America's West Zwift Racing League race number 8, as the women are jumping out on course right now for us in the America's West. We'll be jumping in with the B category as well as the A's for this final race. Dave, last race, we've had a lot of really exciting racing all day long. There's going to be a couple of playoff spots up for grabs in here. And, for these standings, Dave, I'm just wondering, between all of these racers out here, some interesting situations, because on the Rivet Hazen, oh my God, they killed Kenny in the men's. I believe they battled actually last season as well in some playoffs. We'll see if it goes a little bit better for them this time around. On the women's side of things, I'm wondering if we're going to get anybody, Dutch Diesel Cycling Xena, perhaps be able to jump their way up. I'm not sure if the invites are going to go any further out, though, in the Bs here. I'll have to get some information there from Mr. Martin on that. But last race of the season here for West. I think you're muted, Dave, just as a heads up.
Think that you'd have to be an A category to advance into Premier. That would certainly make sense to me. I learned today that some of the divisions only advance one. I'm going to guess that's APAC that only has one team that goes into the playoffs versus two for most of the divisions that we have here. You really have to pay attention to the rules with WTRL as far as they're customed and tailorized for every individual group and situation for sure. So, but I'm going to, Martin will tell us, but I'm going to guess that this is not a qualifier for Premier.
You have to wait and see.
B.
If, right. Joy Connolly here. Let's go ahead and jump right down into the women's race. They are out on course here, a little ways in. The men, still a little time until they get going on the start line. As they make their way on course. There's about 12 minutes to go to the start of the men's races. You'll be able to see here as they're hanging out in the pens. Nobody really jumping in just as of yet. We'll jump on over to the women's race in just a moment here as they make their way around out on course. And as they do, we'll see perhaps we're having a little bit of struggle here to jump in with him. We do have him here in images, everybody. Give us just a second as we wait for these. Let's take a look here quickly at the standings as we wait for that.
Yes, Dutch Diesel Cycling Xena with 138 points. ATP Racing Vespid at 134. Cadence sitting in third with 120 points. Alto Velo Tunitas at 109. And Plush FBW sitting right now in fifth. When you look at this scenario, there's not as much depth. It's challenging to race in a group this size. And there we have them right now, right in the middle of our screen. You can see the peloton rolling out on course. If you want to talk about some details here, it's 43.3 kilometers of racing, 2.6 laps out here. We've got our fastest through segments and our first across the line. In the community, points go 10 deep, from 10 down to 1 in all of those scenarios. The fastest through segments, the first across the line, and of course our QOM, or correspondingly for the men, our KOM, as this is our women's peloton rolling out on course. Nice looking group here.
Yeah, it looks like DBC, Cadence, SJBC is here as well. DDC Xena is going to be the team to be watching out for, obviously, as they've had a lot of domination for as you saw in the standings here. A little bit of a battle, maybe perhaps between Cadence and ATP out there today. Be watching out for Plush as well, see what kind of watts that they can throw out today in this category. Maybe be able to jump across to the seas. They do have a little bit shorter course out there today as well, so it might lend us a little bit of time here to see what's going on with them as they make their way around out on course, as things may be a little bit quieter here. We'll definitely cover across both of them. We'll also see if we can find that cap out there as we jump around.
Yeah, so I am looking at Martin's response here, saying that there are a couple of exceptions, but like Oceania, where only one team will advance to playoffs. But it's top 2 men's teams, top 3 women's teams go into the playoffs. And I still don't know, though, if this group, maybe they do. actually, in reading this. I'm not exactly clear, but I think that they do. But it would only be one, the way I'm interpreting that message. I don't know if you're reading the same thing, but just trying to figure out whether this is a playoff qualifier.
No, I do not believe it is then.
I
So,
can't imagine it would be, but oh no, so no, they're not. It's only A teams, so we were right.
yeah, they'll have their own playoffs for the B category, it looks like, between these riders to see who does take the top spot, but it will not be for the premier division here with these B category riders. 9 minutes to go for the start of the men's race. Is still lots of riders logging in and getting their warm up to get moving here as they work their way over toward the first of the sprint points here with ATP as well as DDC Xena. ATP with lots of jerseys here now, as you do see Yada making her way forward, taking a little bit of a drink from the bottle for her avatar as she takes over the front end of the pack. Make peace also from Kane's. Kane's going to be in these green jerseys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders there from them. It looks like it's going to be 6 riders from ATP still hanging out. And DDC with 5 as well. Plush in the black with 3 as they make their way up. AVRT's also represented there in the blue, white, and black with Davis, it looks like. As well as, let's see at the back of the pack here if we do have a name on S. Holt. It's going to be the other rider there as well.
Some names that certainly have stood out this season. Joy Connolly, as you were mentioning, Nathan, is one. Kat Salthouse, her teammate, also really, really talented out here. It's a rider that has all of the tools that is going to be successful. You've got to be able to climb, but you definitely have to be able to make the big lots through the gravel sectors here. Basically, a third of this race is on gravel, and we've talked extensively about bike choice and bike swapping. And I guess, if you want to distill that down to what we've learned or what I've learned, Nathan, is the bike swap could work in the right situation. It's certainly another thing that's super important is you need a little bit of luck in getting the steamroller power up. I guess that's something we should talk about too here in the early going, Nathan. That steamroller power up is clearly the most desirable, at least in my mind. Also available today, the Feather, which reduces your weight for 15 seconds by 10%, and Draft, which is a 30-second power up, just like the steamroller, but it increases the draft effect that you're feeling by 50%. So it looks like the first sprint has arrived as ATP is going to hit out first. This is going to be Grinnell making her move.
Shoe here now, though, from Plush. Going to have a solid kick here from the Tron bike, but it's going to be Joy Connolly going head-to-head with Torelli from DDC. Who's going to take it at the line? It looks like it's just going to be Torelli, followed up by Connolly, then Manchester Thompson from Cadence, then Shoe fading to the 5th place there. It's going to be your top 10 with points across the line there, 10, 9, 8, 7, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see how those points played out in just a moment. As they did launch. DDC with Torelli taking it down.
You familiar, Nathan, with the bike brand Torelli? Have you ever heard of that? It's not a huge
seen it
brand.
Once.
But,
I think I've seen it once on the dock ride a long time ago. There was a couple of guys who were kind of they were kind of finding these kind of off specialty brands and showing up with them, and it was always kind of cool to see what was going on with them.
There's about 1,000 Italian bike brands like Pinotto and Guerciotti, and Torelli is another one that still has a presence in the American market. Bianchi, Torelli. It's always interesting when you see a last name that's popular in Italy that is a bike brand as well. The group is going to hold together after that first sprint, which has not really been the story of the day, Nathan. It has been aggressive from the onset and so showing some real depth here right now.
It'll be interesting to see what DDC does. I mean, they do see the orange jerseys making the way to the front. They've been the dominant force so far in
that's the
league.
Team. Janelle Yilla is a rider to watch. Julie Gallagher, Diane Mitchell-Prey. We mentioned Daniela Torelli and CJ Boenger, along with Andy Smith, making up this DDC. DDC is Dutch Diesel Cycling, and that is a coaching service that mentioned in the previous broadcast. It's also a trained locomotive, but in this case, it's a coach and a very popular person in the sport of cycling that has certainly got together a movement with riders riding under that banner. It looks like they're up to something, Nathan. When you see all this orange on the front, it certainly should have the alarm bells ringing right now. Next up will be our Queen of the Mountain points. That also scores 10 deep.
Yeah, you do see Shu now getting back on terms at the back here. Plush really just trying to hang on. They did have 3 riders up front. It looks like all 3 are going to get back on terms here. AVRT now with a steamroller coming here from Holt, going right on through the pack, actually, as she gets back on terms. It does look like, well, it's actually not going to be Holt. Excuse me. Who is the rider going off the front here from 3 AVRT riders? It's almost as if they were off the back for a moment and come rolling right on through. And it was Davis, actually. C. Davis, who went directly to the front. Now the counter here coming from Connolly and ATP. As Plush, again, looked to hang on. It looks like DDC got pushed directly off the front as AVRT here got back on terms. But do they have 3 still involved, or did one go out the back again? I believe Holt and Davis are still here. I think we lost. We lose you there, Dave?
So yeah, bike choice absolutely critical today, Nathan. And it's interesting how you can really. It's a great example of how this all works. The Zwift craft and your bike choice having a huge impact on how your race is going to go. You can see the Tron bikes and the road bikes obviously really excelling on the tarmac, but when we get onto the gravel bikes really. I mean, that last climb that we witnessed in the previous women's race was the perfect example of that. As Alana Brady on a gravel bike was just gobbling back time to Megan Rathwell by simply, effort along with bike choice made a huge difference. So it really is, it just goes back and forth and back and forth. And there's another disc wheel out here, one of the more random occurrences that we've seen a few riders using disc wheels today, and not to bad effect. Actually, we had a top 15 ride with the disc in our men's race earlier.
Yeah, Kogi there riding for that Plush team. Does have a smaller, not full dish, but a disc wheel on here on the back. We do see one of the other AVRT riders also. It looks like also choosing to go with a road bike. We'll see how that ends up working out for them out here today. It makes things definitely quite a bit more difficult, it seems like, in the back end of the race. As we're looking at Jay Steele, this was the other rider that I did want to highlight from AVRT. As they do have 3 that have made this front group right now. DDC did take control early on. AVRT bringing their riders back in. It did look like a few riders went back to give them a wheel, actually, as they came up with that speed. Wondering how it's going to end up working out when they hit the dirt here in just a moment, as a few of these riders not on gravel bikes. I do believe Jay Steele, though, decided to jump in on the Cervelo, if I'm not incorrect. So most likely going to be able to hang on.
Yeah, the 2 most popular gravel bikes we've seen, I'd say by far the Canyon Grail. It was used extensively yesterday, and the Canyon is that's the Grail is the Canyon, and the Cervelo gravel bike, I think I see a couple of them in here as well. I just saw Laura Thompson's name pass by. That's a rider to watch today. Laura moving right up to the front here for that Cadence. Cadence is also Broom Wagon, if I'm correct. They
100%
associate
correct there.
under that banner.
Let's go ahead and take a quick look here.
When it hits gravel, Nathan, this group should implode. Looks like a rider just had a technical there, one of the ATP riders. That's a drag. Tough time.
Does look like it's going to be Kuzjata. Now, I wonder if that was going
Jennifer's
for
a strong rider.
A bike swap? I don't know. What's
Jennifer
going on here?
She's a hitter. That certainly wasn't a biomechanical. So tough internet moment, I have a feeling. That's a bummer. They're a very, very useful rider there, Jennifer.
I'm looking through at some of her
Still all
stats
together
here.
right now.
194, 6.2 watts per kilogram for 15 seconds. She's got 3.2 for 20. amongst the rest of her team. Yeah, she's definitely a strong asset here, Jennifer. So she can get back on terms. This is quite the sprint for her here at 5.1 watts per kilogram, 7 seconds. I think she might be able to do it, but they are going to hit the dirt in just a moment, and she is
What
not.
bike is she on?
She's on a road bike, it looks like, actually.
Yeah,
So.
if she had a gravel bike, I would think, oh, this will be good. She'll get back in there. This is going to be tough. You know,
Point so
when
far,
you hear
Dave?
that 6.4 watts per kilo for 5 minutes is what Kristen Kolchinski, our Premier League women's winner, is able to do now. That is mind blowing. Like, Kieda's not messing around here. She's certainly fighting back. A little bit of an adrenaline spike after that incident there. She just went by a rider, did another Makepeace here having a problem as well.
No, I
That's
don't know if there's a
Makepeace, the Canadian.
problem.
Oh, bike change. Well,
But she didn't actually change.
Change
I
bikes.
wonder what happened.
A bike change minus the
Unless
change
it's not
is certainly
showing. I
not
wonder
the
if
way
it's
to
just
go.
not
Yeah.
showing on our end, perhaps.
Oh, great point, Nathan.
But usually it shows. Usually it
that-
shows, but this time it's not doing it for us.
I read somewhere, you would know better than I on this, but you can sometimes make bike changes in game that don't show up on the screen.
Yep.
Does that make any sense to you?
No,
Okay.
100%. I've done it many times. We've seen it on broadcast hundreds of times. So I thought that the latest builds though didn't have that any longer, or that does it a lot less. I think we just happened to hit a moment there where it's still doing it. But we'll see. Maybe we'll find out later that she actually was unable to make the swap there, as we do have Steele here from AVRT pushing the pace at this moment.
AVRT, Alto Velo. This is the team out of Northern California. Couldn't find a better place to be a bike rider than Northern California. And then ATP Vespid rider, Kat Salthouse, who we mentioned earlier. But here comes Laura Thompson and company. Yeah, this is going to blow up now, Nathan. So this Queen of the Mountain, not only will we be handing out a lot of points here, but I think there's going to be quite a few riders that are going to be shown the back door.
100%. As they're about to hit.
Yep.
They're a little bit more than halfway up the climb.
Steamroller being deployed.
Start of the men's race is bananas, actually. Like, absolutely bananas. I'm looking here, and
good word for it.
Look at what's going on with dirt and OTR on the front. Already, people off the back here. And I think everybody who's on these road bikes are just immediately trying to put anybody on a gravel that they can. Just in a world of hurt.
Make hay when it's in the field. And if that happens to be at 5 a.m, so be it, Nathan. I'm 100% with you. Look at how it's all Trons up on the front right now as they're playing into a moment that's good for them in the race. And that's why this course, Countryside here in Makura Islands, is absolutely perfect. McCurry Islands is just such a great look at the riders trailing off the back. So they are doing damage. Now, if we've got a sprint to look forward to in about 4K. You're right, Nathan. This is very, very early for this much aggression in the race. These guys are really taking off the gloves and just having at it. A Donnybrook, if you will.
100% here. Flanagan also from dirt now making his way to the front, using that feather power up and just trying to blow this apart.
Well, smart. He just used it in the one place there's really not much vertical to use that feather on. He played that well. He'll reload his power up when they go through the next arch here. Picking up a steamroller.
If we look across most of the dirt team, it does look like almost all of them, a lot of them are using road bikes out here today. So this is definitely a planned attack here to go after, oh my God, they killed Kenny most likely, as well as AF. OTR now trying to take over at the front, it looks like. What are OTR racing and what's their plan is going to be my next question, because they are the leaders currently.
Yeah, it's interesting. What we've learned today is a little bit of patience goes a long way out here as well. I just saw Philippe Nystrom's name popping up. Philippe's going to be heading over to Europe. He's going to be hopefully racing at the World Cyclocross Championships this year. He's already done some World Cups. He's heading over to do more in Europe. And man,
look at this,
are we happy to see his success. Wow. Well, here's your selection, Nathan.
Look at Thompson.
She's a beast. I'm a big fan.
This is back at the front.
Thompson.
She's back at the front. Didn't
machine.
Laura make the
No doubt.
swap? Isn't Laura the one who made the swap? Or am I
No,
no?
no, it
Make
was
peace. Make peace. Excuse
yeah,
me. Sorry. I
T
thought it was
make
Laura.
peace.
Yeah, so
Right.
she's back. Okay, my bad. I thought Laura had made the swap, but no, Laura's at the front here.
No,
She had a
Laura's been
gravel
riding the front all
the
day.
entire time.
I think she's.
Yeah, got it.
I have a feeling that this is a great course for Laura, and she's looking to really do something here.
I agree.
It reminds me a little bit of Megan Rathwell. You know, when the course suits you, it's time to show them what you got. So back in with the guys, they dropped about 10 riders in this first 5K. That's esports, to tell you the truth. They don't wait around. There's not a
Seems
lot
like
of.
they're usually winning with the rider who goes at the pylon. I think the pylon is actually the place to go. It seems like with these little bit of
That's a
jumps,
pro
grab
tip.
the wheel, and from
pro
almost
tip.
everywhere I've seen, right here around this corner, if you're giving everything you got to the line, you might take it down. Nystrom, just
Philippe?
maybe. Oh, OTR might have got him with
Ooh.
Hemke there. That was a close one. Wait and see.
Yeah, I think that he's going to end up in the top 3. But yeah, we'll take a look at these points. And we've got our fastest through segment to look at. So just so many points left, right, and center to be going for, keeping the community racing hot. Little bit of a split in the middle part of this group. Let's see how this plays out right now, Nathan. So
the West like to
that's
take advantage of situations like this. That's for sure. And I have a feeling we may see them just really push the pressure on here at this point. Back in with the ladies.
Philippe is from Costa Rica, but is living in Portland now. Now, let's see what's happened. I think we've got every kind of bike in our top 5 here. There's a Tron bike. There's a Grail, a road bike. So when you deploy the steamroller, you are turning whatever bike you're on and whatever surface you're on, it moves to being on a road bike on smooth tarmac for 30 seconds. This is the power up that everyone is desiring. Let's watch what it does for Laura Thompson right now as she's riding up the front and not that far away from another group of points here at the QOM.
10 points up for grabs. Salthouse trying to bring
She's got
things
a nice
back.
gap.
I think this is
Nice
said
job.
and done for her. Cat Salthouse here, also on a gravel. Connolly, Tron, still hanging on. Solid ride from her. But Thompson here with an 8-second gap. She is not being seen again.
Now the arch comes up right after this bridge. There it is. You can see the red arch, and that will be that 10 points added to the account of Laura Thompson. So, yeah, I have a feeling, Nathan, she is in it to win it today. No doubt about it. The team for Cadence, Amy Lates, D Makepeace, who we saw making that bike change earlier, the aforementioned Laura Thompson, Stephanie Osenbrink, and Tracy Moore on this squad. This is Kat Salthouse, another rider to watch today with Tamara Moore coming by right after her.
Thompson now with more on the teammate here, only 11 seconds back. It's 3 riders on the chase. Jay
Tracy
Steele,
Moore.
15, 16. There's 3 riders there with Steele, Gallagher, and Boyinger. It's going to be Holt there on the chase solo, 18 seconds back. Thompson is most definitely going to summon the Kappa.
Yeah, let's see if we can find that Kappa. If you were watching in the previous shows, you know we've had good luck and bad luck when it comes to today has not been the greatest day for me as far as just life stuff. And so this Kappa, I'm blaming, to tell you the truth. It really scared me earlier today when we saw it. It lives right here, but it's not showing up. So unfortunately, it is laying low. Do we go through the explanation for folks that are just joining us for this broadcast?
Nah, that's okay. It'll show up as long as we don't give the explanation. Then it shows up. It'll be like, see, there's a Kappa. That's what they look like. And Twitch.
If you see a weird frog thing, that's what we were talking about. I guess you can Google that yourself.
Let's go
Kenneth
ahead.
Hill is a longtime Zwift community. Kenneth Hill, when the whole COVID-19 lockdown started, Kenneth, who lives in California, really embraced Zwift. And I'm going to guess that he's hit level 50 at this point. But he really, really took to it. He does a lot of racing in the community. And he was the first person that told me about the Kappa. So Kenneth has really immersed himself into the world of Zwift. So thank you, Kenneth.
So Kenneth, he's seen the Kappa, I guess. I think that's what.
He's seen it. He was the one who told. I'm I'm surprised Kenneth doesn't communicate with you as well. He's very social.
Looking
You've
here,
got a
it
lot
looks
of
like.
people on your.
Sorry, Kenneth. You can contact me if you want. Nathan's not on socials actually for at least 30 to 60 days, messenger only. But go right ahead. We're looking through here, and it's gonna be. Look at all the red jerseys. OTR are just like completely dominating. We got Hayes and Rush. This is almost like the red Peloton.
Yeah, boy, it looks like exactly as you said. Is Michael Sweet still in this group? I don't know if you saw. Speaking of socials, Whitney Post put up an absolutely hysterical photo or pic of Mike with a baguette and a bottle of wine. Whitney and Michael have really, I just defined for me how to have fun and live life, and they've been doing all of the Belgian waffle rides, and they're a cycling couple for sure. And I always am pulling for Michael Sweet and Whitney Post. I don't. There he is, right there. Thank you.
What are
Keep
you
it
doing,
going. So
Michael? Mr. Sweet off the back here. He's on that gravel bike. Looks like he was one of the first ones to get dropped. He was kind of, I think, messing around in the pens here, not really paying attention. And next thing you know, the road bikes went to the front, and it was game
probably
over.
when he was posing for Whitney with the baguette and bottle of wine, he took
See,
his
that's
eye
the
off the
problem.
prize.
Yeah, what's up with the
Yeah, he
bottle?
got
Of,
caught.
oh,
Oh,
here
bike
we
changing.
go. Here we go.
Sighting.
How fast are they going to do it? It doesn't show
Pretty
in game
quick.
for us, but they did. They did. It's not going to show, of course. But G Hill, 9 seconds is what they lost. Paul Schaefer, he can hammer.
stay with them?
Patrick is so fast. I TTT with Patrick, and this guy can do 6 to 7 watts per kilogram, probably most of the way to the top. He actually just threw down his power up here, steamroller. Going to catch right back up to Grant Hill, OTR Hayes.
If they can work together now, and I think just you could see that using the steamroller here, these two really benefit their teammates. So clearly they are going to work together.
46 versus 26. Like, seriously? Look at how fast it's going to come back. Look at the speed difference.
Wow. Okay. Well, here's a good example of guys who clearly had practiced this. They came in with the plan. They had Anna Russell's whiteboard. And look at them blowing by guys on Trons, road bikes. So fantastic. Great example, Nathan. Excellent producing right there. That was the moment that I realized how wrong I was. Right there.
Now the question is it going to matter? Because there's still guys with gravels at the front, though. There's guys
now,
gravels
at
the front here. Now, have they reserved enough energy on the tarmac is going to be the question, right?
Right. That's exactly it. And I have a feeling that it pretty much all comes out in the wash, to tell you the truth. I think it might be 6 of one, half a dozen of the other when you look at it now. So the bike that you're seeing is not the bike that he's actually on. I think we're recognizing he's probably moved on to a Grail, talking about most Schaefer likely. Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good guess. So, I mean, it makes sense. You can see him moving through this group like
Grant's
a hot
already
knife
here.
Through
Grant's already in 10th place. He's going across to oh my God in just a moment here.
Okay, you can say, yeah, that absolutely worked. They did that very, that was clean for sure.
His teammate Northway and Pletcher are right here. And I wonder how they're going to work together here.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. They need to close down this gap before that gets out of control. And they're going to. I mean, this is Altavelo that we're in.
As soon as this really hits that next section here, where it kicks up to 10%. Yeah, that 5 seconds. I think they'll actually pass them before that or right on that section, and they most likely will roll right over the top of them. Is my prediction.
So the second rider here has a Grail, a Canyon Grail, but his teammate on a road bike.
That's an interesting setup here with Jurisic, and then it's going to be P Mog here over on Twitch. It is going to be Bishop from OTR Rush trying to shut things down here, but both of these riders are on Grail. No, they're both on. One's on a Grail, and one's on the Cervelo.
Okay, and a Cervelo, right?
So
the green
they are
bike there is the Cervelo.
Gravel bikes. Hill has almost caught them at 6.2 watts per kilogram. Now the
I almost
question
think
is,
that they should.
he swapped at the bottom here. Is he going to swap back then at the top? Like,
No, that just seems
not
like
at the top, but like when they hit, like, I don't know, like what's the plan here? Like it's 10 seconds each time.
all right.
They
We're
did it in
moving
10
into
seconds.
swap insanity now.
It is swap insanity. This is like
You could swap yourself right out of the bike race too, but it's funny, Nathan. After we finished up the last broadcast, I was thinking to myself, when do you ever see anyone do a bike change in real life? You actually do.
you see him a lot.
I've been at multiple races where riders have changed to a climbing bike. I remember Rowan Dennis doing it in a time trial at the Tour of California back in 2013, changing to his climbing bike for the last 4K. So, and actually, even riders in a road race, the Saturn Cycling Classic, the top riders, Jonathan Vaughters, Scott Moniger, would change to a mountain bike for the dirt road descent that they had in that race. So there's in real life.
We did that in Iceland
changing
too.
Bikes.
We actually did that in Iceland.
Did you?
I brought the mountain bike just for that to do. We descended off of a mountain at the very peak of Highway 1, I think it is, in Iceland, at the very, very tip. And they gave me the mountain bike and was like, all right, let's go. Me and another guy hammered our way down the mountain at the tip of Iceland. It was pretty awesome. That was the main reason I got invited was, well, you mountain bike. Let's go. You're going to have to descend this section.
I don't know
So
if
we
that
did a
was the
bike
main
swap.
reason. That was
That was
fun.
actually the message I got when on the phone was, hey, we need a mountain biker too. So anyways, Durasic didn't work out here. Grant, I know we're talking.
That was in the early days of
5
Zwift.
years, 2017.
Yeah.
Solid
that
ride
was
from
fun. I bet you
Durasic
go
here.
back to
16 years
Iceland.
old. I've raced this guy. And he is a fast 16-year-old kid for sure. Really good to see him getting these points here. Bishop Hill now on that bike swap. He's going to catch right back up.
Mog, the 16-year-old?
No, Jurasic, his teammate.
Jurasic. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it right there. That 16 next to his flag. Good for him. I don't know if he's old enough to watch South Park at 16. Yeah, you are. I'm kidding. But at 12, I don't know if
my
you should be watching
14-year-old was
South Park.
asking about logging into the Amazon or Netflix and was like, I want to watch. I was like, I don't know about that here, buddy.
Hold your horses, big guy.
Yeah, come on now. I'm not giving you that password.
Not yet. You have to earn that trust, right? Okay. Again, where are you, Kappa? I'm giving up hope.
He's going to show up now because these blue fireballs are out here.
Yeah, what are those blue fireballs?
No, that's when he was here. I remember. It's at a certain time of day when the blue fireballs show up, I bet. I bet you they disappear and we're going to see the cap.
When I first got on Zwift really started riding seriously back in 2018, I could not figure out what those glowing orbs were in Watopia. I still don't know what they are. I Googled it. That's one of the fun things about Zwift is there's always something that sparks your curiosity out here. Well, this is nothing curious about this. These are just the strongest women in the race right now. There's no secret here. You got to make the watts, Nathan, and they're doing exactly that. It's 2-on-2 now.
And we are seeing that it is going to be Connolly on the Tron bike. The rest are going to be Gravels, Thompson, Salthouse, and Moore.
Yeah, I mean, and so Tracy Moore here. I mean, this is the cream rising to the top, folks. If you were going to go ahead and start looking at this race and trying to pick out the top riders, the riders to watch, well, these four would have made my list, certainly. Joy Connolly here on the concept bike, the Tron bike. Salthouse, her teammate. They're both on that ATP Vespid team. And then you've got the Cadence Broomwagon ladies here in green. And interesting choices. Now, Nathan, Kat Salthouse is on a road bike. We've got the Tron, obviously.
It's just the Tron.
The other
just
ATP.
the Tron. The rest are all on gravel. They're all on gravel. Salthouse is on the Cervelo.
Cervelo is kind of a stealthy gravel bike.
It is a stealthy. It is a little stealthy. I'd have to agree with you there. I didn't see it at first, actually, either. A lot of times
the Grail is
because
much
it doesn't
easier to
have
check out.
it doesn't have the double handlebar. So
Right. I almost think that all of the gravel bikes should have something like that double handlebar just to help
Identify them for the
commentators.
broadcast. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes.
they should just put
Well,
a
actually, for
kappa
other
on the
racers as
shoulder.
well.
They should just put a kappa on the handlebar. That's
Yeah, agreed.
yeah, a little green devil, and then we can identify it a lot easier. Well, I mean, it's either that or the double handlebar. So now the question here is there enough road bikes on the chase here to bring this back? I don't think so. I think at 40 seconds, this is a pretty said and done situation on this women's side of things.
Isn't it? I think it's really
So
interesting, Nathan, that
DDC, what is going on with DDC, Dave? Like this is just not their day with the standings. I mean, but look at ahead. Is this a threat, Dave?
well, and to be fair, DDC has won just about every time they've raced this season. Only a couple second places for them to have 138 total points here, with 140 being a perfect score after 7 of 8 races in our regular season for the community. So, yeah, a little bit of a surprise, to tell you the truth. I don't think you catch them on the back foot often, but that's what's happening right now.
Hmm.
Certainly
Interesting to
an
see.
interesting moment now as they are just about to hit the halfway point of the race, 43K, but the only summit finish. Well, no, I guess we've had a few summit finishes along the way. You would have to count Innsbruck KOM after party as a summit finish.
Mm-hmm.
And but this one is a classic. It really is. The climbers are going to just revel in this course every time they have a chance to race here. They're going to be very, very happy, especially now that we have sort of sorted out what bike works best out here. A little bit of a sprint, not a little, a big sprint coming up. And does Thompson sit up early
I think she
there?
got it. I think she
I think she
just barely
did
got it.
too. I think that on her screen, she stopped pedaling the second she hit the line, not wanting to waste an extra calorie out here. She's been listening to our call. And by the way, Kate Bates, if you're watching, we're thinking of you. It seems like all of my favorite colleagues have been getting sick lately, Nathan.
No go. All done with that, and Kate will
You're
get
feeling
well
better,
real
aren't
soon.
you?
Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. We're getting there.
Yeah, I'm
We're
really
definitely
happy.
getting there.
You sound good. That's for sure.
A little
As you
bit of cough
cough,
here
right?
and there. Yep.
Yeah,
cough
never.
here and there. As Connolly takes second across, it looks like Moore and Saltos follows it up. It looks like Thompson said enough is enough, and I did my job for the day, or she's having a mechanical. I have a feeling either that's got to be a mechanical.
She's certainly not changing bikes right now. That is a mechanic. Something happened right at. You know what? I'm going to guess. She might have popped her bike out of her trainer on that sprint.
We've seen it before. Christina Grossman going plaid.
I hope she didn't flop over, because that is very on Laura Thompson.
She logged out.
She certainly wouldn't.
No, she didn't log out. She's just
her bike.
Whoop, see you later.
She had. I'm going to guess. Well, I hope that she'll be able to communicate what happened, because I'm going to guess that she actually knocked her bike out of the trainer or something like that.
She's got to finish still to get those points. She has to finish still to get those points, though. So it's going to be a long night bringing back some of these minutes now. She's out of the race at this point, most likely. I wouldn't see. I mean, out of the race for the contention, but as she still has to pedal her way around. If she's okay, I hope she's all right. Let us know.
So I was looking at Tracy Moore, Nathan. I'm just curious. She's a level 50 Zwifter. Talking about Tracy, who's up here today, the Canadian on Cadence, the teammate there, and now the last Cadence rider up in that front group, as we just lost Laura Thompson. And Laura, I echo Nathan's sentiments. So we certainly hope everything's all right there in Canada.
I want to highlight over on the men's side of things, 3 riders still off the front. Jurisic Bishop from OTR and Mog there from Oh My God. 2 Oh My God Kennys. Looks like Kempton and the rest of Hayes. I mean, are they chasing Glenn Kempton as well as Faulkner for Dirt Riot? Craig Northway behind. They've got Hill. Yeah. Did Hill stay on the gravel? Is my question, or is this what I'm seeing? I mean, we don't know.
No, I'm gonna guess, because remember I'm gonna guess that is technically a gravel bike underneath him.
Most likely.
Let's assume that. I think that's a fair assumption. Although it seems like everything I've guessed today, I've been wrong. So I should not go play blackjack. That's for sure.
I think they're going to make the catch here because there are a few Tron bikes and road bikes in and amongst them. We've seen this
Yeah, I
over
mean,
and over again that you can trust it a lot of times.
there's some
If it's
horsepower too. There's plenty of strong guys on that group to work. And the
take a quick
gap is
look
really
here.
it stayed right around 9-10 seconds, starting to come down a little bit here. But they've got a lot of racing ahead of them as well. Let's take a look at the points up to this point. On the Rivet, Hayes has had quite a season, Nathan, haven't they?
Yeah, absolute domination here. So themselves, and oh my God, they killed Kenny. They're going to be the next ones to be making it into the playoffs. They struggled up against some of the other divisions last season. We'll see what they're able to pull off this season. In with the current situation for the points, it is going to be Hill taking down 48. That was the man who made that swap. He's in the chase group 8 seconds back at this point. Actually, there's already some attacks going on as we see some separation in the seconds with Faulkner and Kepner. Van der Veen, Northway. Actually, they're just catching those two chasers. Excuse me. But Jurisic and Hemke, it looks like Schaefer also at 20. A lot of OTR there. It's only going to be OMG there for that third and fifth as Mog and Jurisic came up over the top of the King of the Mountain. That's where they got those points. Maybe grabbing a few in the sprint as well. And now off the front, but it's only 6 seconds and it's only halfway to the sprint point. I don't think they're going to be holding on to it because of that, Dave.
Yeah, and at some point you have to, rethink what's going on out here. They're still having a great ride today. That the white, orange, and black jersey there is our AVRT friends. So certainly they're showing they've got the good legs today.
Where are the AVRT
48
boys?
points for Hill. That's you can see really making the most of the. So if you had been perfect up to this point, you would have 60 points, and he's got 48. It's an impressive job.
I was being told that there was a few excuses coming in from Whitney over on YouTube, actually.
Oh, really?
About what was actually happening with Mr. Sweet. We'll see what she had to say here. Whitney's letting us know, starting with the gravel bike only works if you can make it to the base of the climb fresh enough to go hard up the hill. Today was the first 2-a-day workout. Coach made them do legs. So the excuses they were they did the classic cyclist.
It was leg day.
It was leg day. Classic cyclist showed up. My legs aren't feeling good today, guys. I had to go lift weights. Coach made me do it. Understood, Michael? I get it, how it works. I always use that one on Mondays. Let people know why I'm not winning my races as well. You've heard that same excuse in my stream. It was leg day. Looks like Faulkner and Bishop, they make the catch and go right over the top, actually, looking to try and make this break happen again as they are on those road bikes. Actually, no, Faulkner's on the road bike. It's not going to be Bishop. Bishop's actually on a gravel Jurisic here trying to make the chase, and they think something might be able to make of this because lots of energy was most likely expended to bring back the two off the front. Jurisic again, though.
I get the feeling the gravel bike is not as bad on tarmac as we might think.
Let's test it out.
Let's
here
we go.
I'm gonna get Dave to try and hang on to this group, Dave. With that gravel bike. I'm gonna try it too. We'll both do it.
That's Eric's
we'll both do it. We'll both jump on and be like, all right, can we hang on to this group? You'll be in whatever category. I'll be in the A category, and we'll see how long we stick with the group. I'll just start attacking the group. It won't even be like a dirt road either. There's no dirt road in the race that we do.
I really think that, you don't need to be a hero on that gravel bike when you're on the tarmac. Just stay in the group, stay in the draft, and I think you're going to be okay. Here we go.
Is this going to work out for Jurisic? I don't know. He might actually pull this off.
I think so.
The speed. Look at the speed. Oh, Nystrom from OMG snags it from him. The speed differentiation coming from the pack is insane. That was almost 57 kilometers per hour.
If we go back and look at that, though, Jurisic might have ended up second in that sprint. It was close for second and third. Boy, Philippe Nystrom's got some form right now. Clearly, I was talking about his efforts in the cyclocross World Cup level racing, and he's clearly doing his work. The Costa Rican here. That's the flag that we're looking at. But now on to the front is going to be McLeod.
Really chilled out here now at this point from OTR Hayes. So as they do chill out and it kind of grupo compactos, we're going to get
Good time to attack.
counter attack. Yeah,
Good.
Byland.
Yeah, there's no doubt when everybody thinks we're going to get a break, that's where you can make the difference. That's where you can find your delta. Is Byland here, the dirt rider, is on the move using his Tron bike to his advantage here.
6.4, 5.7 now. Bishop backs off. It's a 1 second gap. He does have 25 meters. I always look at the bottom of the screen, and if it does get out to that 50 meters, I know I'm starting to get a little bit of that. That's when people are like either say, well, it's time to go across, or they kind of let things go out a little bit more. That 50 meters is a lot of times where I start getting a little bit more wind in my sails about what I'm doing, because it disappears at the bottom there. You don't see them. You know you've got about 4 to 5 seconds. So always some motivation when you hit that moment.
One of the tools that they have in the Premier broadcast is that drafting heat map that you see. And you really do need to get more than 15 meters to have nobody in your draft. But I absolutely agree with you. At 50 meters, you feel like you're starting to move into a new phase of breaking them, if you will.
Now 5 seconds. If this continues to go up like this, we may see. Now this is lap 2, so I personally would not bike swap here.
Me either.
No, I'd wait till the final lap.
This looks like such a cool little village here.
This is one of the coolest sections by far. Like, I like suffering through this section. It's a great, great section.
Our game engineers just did a tremendous job with McCurry Islands. This world is just beautiful.
Be on the watch out. It's about to get bigger.
Exciting. Always something exciting coming. Let's go back and take a look at the women. See what's going on out here. Kat Salthouse and Tracy Moore hanging in there. Tracy in the green jersey on that Cervelo up against the two ATP ladies. And really, to me, Nathan, look at the gap that they've got on the chase group now.
1:15.
Over 1 minute 15. Yeah. Big,
absolutely
big.
Gone.
So this is a group of 3 racing for the win, 2-on-1. But what we've learned is the strong rider will win, in my opinion. That 2-on-1, ultimately, it's not as big of an advantage as I truly believe the strongest will take the gold.
I'm just surprised out here today with DDC. Is there just a numbers game for them, perhaps? Because, I mean, this is quite the effort here. Or are they more of the sprinters types and been winning out on the sprints and the pure power of the team time trials? Because ATP Vespa and Cadence are just walking away. A minute 15, that is another level type show up here. So DDC, we thought they were controlling the race early on, but ATP showing up on the day for the final race and showing that they've got a lot of power to work with.
Yeah, there was no controlling these 3. That's for sure. They're on another level today, as Joy Connolly here, Kat Salthouse. They're 2 of the big names in this division. Tracy Moore certainly looking to upset the apple cart, and I'll give her a little bit of extra credit if she can pull it off going up against 2 here. But if they want to take advantage of that, they're going to have to start attacking her in turns. And in a course like this, it's either you've got it in the legs or you don't. That's going to be Joy Connolly moving up to the front, the American on ATP. Well, they're actually both Americans here. Kat Salthouse also from the USA.
Versus
I'd like to know where
Cadence.
In the USA.
Isn't ATP mainly a SoCal situation? No,
that's
not
funny.
at all. Actually.
No, that's
Withers.
No.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
right.
Jim Withers is in Michigan, isn't he?
He's up by me.
I think that's where our honey.
Again.
Right.
Yep.
That's where our honey supplier is, Jim. Thank you so much again.
I still didn't bring the little honey bears. See, the honey bears and the kappa. I don't really know what the problem is today.
Well, the honey bears are real. The kappa is a terrifying figment of your imagination.
Look here.
That never happened,
24 seconds. Right? We were just hallucinating.
We imagined
really
all of that.
on.
You know what? You're still in the end of your fever dreams.
Oh, my goodness.
That kappa thing would absolutely qualify as a fever dream, nightmare type creature. I was going to say animal, but that's no animal. That's a creature.
Byland's got 25 seconds at this point. He's
I like
climb with the Tron, 5.9. Left-hand turn about to be happening here. If I were him, I'd stay on the Tron for another lap. That's what I would do. They're probably going to catch him. But he was able to. I don't know. Like, what was the?
It's going to be interesting. Does he make it to the KOM? If he does, that would be really
It'd
okay.
be worth
Here's a
it. It
scenario
would be
that would be
worth the
fun to watch.
points.
Right. So if he hangs on to the KOM and then makes it all the way back to right here, he's got the right power up. Although he's using it early, which
I
is
think
a
he's using
little
it because he's going to
concerning
swap
to me.
bikes. I think he's going to
Well,
use
that's a
this to
great
be
call.
like for
That would be the
line
only reason
45.
to use it right now. You normally
Yep.
want to use it on the steeper sections, but if you're going to swap bikes, maybe you use it up and then swap. Let's see. Let's see what he's doing.
Does he push a Mr. Byland 30 seconds out? And it looks like he's continuing on. He thinks he's got this in the bag, perhaps. 4.8, 4.6.
You know you're curious when you just stop commentating and watch.
You just watch him here. Jurisic now on the road bike as well, it looks like. Looking to be on the chase. 30 seconds up here. Byland, I am a little bit, well, not really. I'm not that surprised. But the reason being is because he's still got to make the descent. He's still got all that road to come. What was the point of having it this whole time? I think this is testing legs, and the next lap, perhaps, do the same thing. It's a big effort, though, but he's forcing 8 watts per kilogram out of these other riders right now.
See, now that would be a good example of where I would advise patience then. If you've got the ability to do that, I don't think you're quite playing your cards in the right order. To tell you the
100%.
truth.
I'd have to. Dude, yeah. Wait for the river. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Right. Yeah. But at any
hold
rate,
'em.
Byland has been super impressive. We're back in with the ladies now. This is going to be Tracy Moore that we're looking at now. Is she chasing or off the front?
Off the front.
She's attacked.
Yep.
She is attacked. This is some old school fury from Tracy Moore. Wow, Tracy. Phenomenal job here as we're moving into the final third of this race. She certainly has got them all struggling right now. Salthouse and Connolly right now it's Salthouse at 12 seconds. Connolly just a little further back.
All split up at this point. Is it just going to be every woman for herself, I wonder? I mean, there's a...
It sure looks like it.
Good amount of racing left here. The rider on the Tron, Connolly, I think, will come back to them when they hit the road. Maybe. We'll see if they get together and work together. I mean, only solo riders. There's a good amount of time that can be made up being on a Tron versus those gravels. If there was a pack to work with, I'd say it'd be a little bit different. Now, Salthouse and Moore get together. They're going to, I mean, Salthouse is not going to work with Moore. She's just going to wait up for her teammate, I would think.
Yeah, well, they should, for sure. They've got plenty of racing ahead of them to work together to try to neutralize the massive. But Tracy is gone, right? I mean, she's now 13 seconds. I was misreading that there. I apologize. Off the front. Let's go
Byland,
back in now.
All
with
that
Byland.
effort.
Yep.
Jurisic comes across, though, and it's completely splintered the group. There's nobody left. So this might have been a good move to get involved here at the front, and he might be able to hang on a Tron, rest on the bottom, and get pull things around here at the bottom of this climb. If he can hang on, and he'll be a part of a serious breakaway situation because of this, and then the bike swap next time around. But he'll have to because if he's on this bike the next time around, he could get some separation. He's got to hold on to Schaefer's wheel right now. Schaefer's not actually on that bike. He's on the gravel. He made the swap the first lap.
Look at this. Jurisic, our 16-year-old, is putting them all in a world of hurt right now. Oh, my God, they killed Kenny Ryder. I apologize for identifying that jersey as Altavelo earlier. That's definitely OMG. They killed Kenny. And, Nathan, you don't see a race on Zwift look like this often. I mean, there are riders left, right, and center out here on this circuit. What an amazing course this is. Only the strong survive to find the win out here. That is for sure. If this young man can pull it off, again, we've got a ways to go. But oh my God, they killed Kenny Ryder. Jurisic here is really impressive at this point. Turning the screws.
So you can see it's going to be Mog now on the chase as Schaefer making that bike swap, not on the bike that you're seeing in game there. 3 of them. Hill now looking to come across. He was also another one who made a swap here, and it looks like Byland's going to suffer for it. Unable to hang on. That's really tough out this rider as he put in a huge dig, an amazing effort to get that gap here, but these four just come right over the top. 7 watts per kilogram.
Certainly blew this race up, though.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. If he does get on terms here with Bishop, or perhaps Oliphant as well and Homer, it's not out of reach at this point. It really isn't.
Well, pretty similar stories actually in the men's and the women's races, as we've seen some real separation going on. The men's race has a few more riders packed into that first 30 seconds, going down to Van der Veen of the dirt team. But this young rider, Jurisic here, has been phenomenal at this point. And look at the watts that he's making, Nathan. Over 6, well, just now under 6 watts per kilo here, but he's picking up top points there at the KOM. So give Jurisic 10 points for, oh my God, they killed Kenny.
He'll across the line
we'll
next.
Work through
Bishop.
the next 9.
This is, I mean, every single man for himself. Nobody is with anyone.
Is there a group left on this course?
3 here.
Right
this
there.
Is about it.
That might be the peloton. You're looking at the 3-rider peloton. Or there's 4, but
there's 4 here with Nystrom. I mean, it's just essentially little tiny chase groups after the amount of mayhem that's thrown down here. As Jurisic continues on 4.9, he might be. I don't think he's going to walk away with this. Somebody think Schaefer and Maul are going to get back on terms. Even Hill, perhaps. There might be riders catching each other, and they kind of end up coalescing into a larger pack here in a few moments.
I would agree, and that also speaks to the give and the take with the bike and the terrain that you're on, and certainly Jurisic making the most of the moment right now. But I'm with you, Nathan. I expect to see a little bit of regrouping, but certainly, that Mason Dixon line I think might be Oliphant, to tell you the truth. The Fred AF rider there might be the last one to rejoin into this front group. Kappa, where are you? Nowhere to be found. So, all right, moving through this sector now. This is going to be your front group, and I think it's fair to say that your winner of this race is on your screen right now.
Yeah, I mean, these two continue to just completely demolish the pack, breaking away over and over again. They use this section of course completely to their advantage. They get caught on the back end, but really it just matters to where the finish line is, right? So because of where the finish line is on the KOM, with these gravel bikes, they just continue to get these gaps and then rest up on the downhills, and they're going to do it all over again if they can hang on the flat sections of the road this next lap around. I'm going to go ahead and jump on over to the women.
If you can get to that last 2.5K with anything left in your legs on a gravel bike, that's the ideal situation, isn't it?
Get to the bottom of the. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, back to the bottom. If you can get to that last climb, having a gravel bike underneath you and a little bit of juice.
A little bit of gap, and that's the way to go. That is reserving as much as you possibly can up to that point. I mean, it's just so fast. Now, it depends on how much of a gap you let things go to. I mean, we saw Rathwell with a solid 30, and that got shut down. I mean, 40 seconds we saw at the end.
So quickly. Too. I mean, I just could not believe. Now, a lot of that has to go to the heart, the legs, and the willpower of Alana Brady, who ended up winning the race. I mean, it wasn't like the bike magically floated up there, but man, did she close that down quick. And then when it was over, it was lights out, to tell you the truth. Poor Megan tried to use her draft at the moment she got past, looking to just try to latch on, and that just wasn't happening. All credit to Megan Rathwell for a phenomenal ride, but Alana Brady was the queen of that race, no doubt about it. We're back in now. This is going to be the chase. So they have linked up and are working together here as Connolly and Salthouse are looking to close down, I believe it's a 20-second gap.
Yeah, and I think they will be able to do this perhaps with Connolly, depending on the kind of power she's able to put out. 3.3, 3.2 here, 39 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, I'm
37,
not confident.
38.
So this is a gravel bike that Tracy's on. That's the Cervelo, correct?
Correct.
And so that's looking good for her.
I mean, I know right this really moment, strong right now. I mean, she's just got a solid watt per kilogram more. I think more is gone.
The last thing I want to do is say Tracy Moore is going to win this race, because every time I've done that today, I've jinxed the rider. So I'm going to say Tracy Moore has no chance here.
At 2.6 watts per kilogram, Connolly here at 3.0.
That's the
a
only way
solid
she's
watt
going to
per
win,
kilogram
Nathan.
more.
Her
You're
best
right.
chance to win is me predicting
is
that
you
she
predicting
won't.
that
So,
she
right.
won't. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. No caster's curse is happening here. Jurisic and Mog, they
Caster
continue.
curse. Yeah.
They just continue to press the pace on the downhill here. Byland, though, now
These
as
are
you
two
can see
savvy
here,
racers. Yeah, those two ladies know what they're doing. I mean, if anybody can make the catch, it's going to be them working together. We're going to see if they've got it or not. Back in with the men with, let's call it a dozen kilometers left. Little over 12K to the finish. It's a big group coming together out there as that regrouping happens. But you can see the points here are going to go to, oh my God, they killed Kenny. It looks like they're going to grab first and second, I believe. Jurisic and Moog. This is for third, the group that we're looking at right now, with Schaefer on the front. But look at this surge coming out of the group now.
These
This is
two
going to be
are
Ivany.
punching and punching and punching over and over again to try and keep it over that 57 kilometers per hour, even on the downhills with the gravel bikes. What a move here coming from these two. They've held it at 21 seconds, and they continue to take pulls like a TTT type situation here, actually. So OMG, still.
Look how smooth they are, rotating perfectly here. They know what they're doing. Just like, so really, we've got two in the women's race. We've got two riders chasing. Here we've got two riders off the front with the men. And this is tough now because a big advantage on the tarmac to this group. If they can keep rolling through or snowballing or avalanching through, and that's what they're doing now. We'll
I think
see
the only
how
ones who
much
are
time.
on a road bike
Are they all on
going to be
gravel?
Byland, yeah, because Schaefer and Grant are actually on gravel bikes.
And unfortunately for them, Byland has got to be a little bit tapped out right now after that huge effort he made. So he's not going to be able to go to the front and pull this whole group back by himself.
No, he just goes to the front and pulls 3.1 watts per kilogram for a moment. So
That's not going to do it.
no,
Yeah.
and these two working together, knowing that there's no road bikes behind them, they've got a lot of motivation at this point. If I knew there were road bikes chasing me behind, I'd be a little less motivated to really
Little bit
put
of a
me
bummer,
work in.
right.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, they're going to come back. We're working too hard. They don't have to waste too much effort. Let's just chill out. But in this situation, it really is mano a mano. If you've got more power, obviously they've got a few more bodies back there, but they don't look extremely motivated. I think they might just be saying, we're racing for third out here as Schaefer backs off to 3-3.
These two have the heart of a lion going for them. They're adding time, Nathan. They've added another 4 seconds just in this last minute or so. So they're riding away with this race here. Big day for OMG. They killed Kenny.
Yeah, solid day. 130 points currently, as on the River
Now,
Hayes are
three
still going to take
teams-
things down.
Three
in the
teams, I believe, are going to
out of the West.
go into the or is it? We'll have to check tomorrow. But obviously, the playoff. Oh, excuse me. With men, it's only 2, isn't it?
Correct.
So
Because there's
yeah,
less
they're-
participation on the team, so and less divisions, and so because of that, they're stacking the women's field a little bit more out of all the divisions, whereas the men's
Makes
mix
sense.
has a ton more divisions, so just 2 can make it.
Yeah, we had those numbers earlier today. There's 121 countries that participate in the ZRL, brought to you by WTRL. That's 1,741 teams with 1,711 members. That breaks down to 14,856 unique participants out here. That's a good breakdown on how popular WTRL has helped make ZRL. And we'll see everybody on Thursday for WTRL's team time trial, where this whole thing got started.
Yeah, 8 hours of we're not patting ourselves on the back or anything every Tuesday. Appreciate you adding that in there. That
It should
Martin,
say 8
as
hours
well.
of Nathan. You're the only one that's on every hour of that, my friend. Although I feel like I'm here for a lot of it.
You're here for a lot of it, Dave. You're here for a ton of it. So absolutely here. Now take a look here. Connolly said enough is enough with Kat Salthouse and said, I got to get across to more. I'm not going to let you just sit on my wheel. She made a little bit of a jump and was able to drop Salthouse. Now the question is, does Salthouse bring her back on the gravel bike when they do hit the dirt? We'll have to wait and see.
So my thought is they're teammates, right? So they're in it for the
Oh,
same
sorry.
end
Excuse
goal.
me.
Right. But so I'm thinking that maybe they realized, like, look, so Joy is saying, hey, Kat, I'm going to go ahead and try to catch her. If you're not feeling like you
Good
can
call,
keep
Dave.
going
That
at
was
this
my
pace,
mistake. My mistake.
oh, yeah, no worries. But I'm thinking that, at some point you're like, look, all due respect, I'm going to try to go faster. I know that you're good at this pace. So there's no imaginable way that that Kat doesn't end up in third, right? She's not going to get caught by that group that's a minute and a half back. So I think that basically it was like, look, I'm going to take my chances. We don't have anything to lose. Either way, we were going to get second and third. I'm going to go see if I can catch her. And at this
She's
point,
motoring.
23 seconds back. Yeah, so it's kind of going Joy's way right now.
39 kilometers per
Let's,
hour, 40 kilometers per hour. Let's see how fast these seconds start to come down as Connolly
but
hits up.
unfortunately, Nathan, as you've really helped me understand today, she's not on the right bike. She is right now, but once we get into that last 2.5K, Tracy Moore on that, I believe she's on the Cervelo, will have a nice advantage there. So if Joy doesn't catch her before that climb starts and have at least a steamroller, it's going to be really tough.
20
But it's
seconds
down
the
to 20
difference.
seconds. Yeah.
She's
So,
backed off
this is
now at this
obviously,
point, too, though. 2.6. It looked like it was just a little bit of a kick, but Moore's just got more of a consistent effort, it seems like, right now.
yeah, it's hard to imagine that Tracy doesn't close this deal out. And we're back in here with the Canadian Tracy Moore on the Cadence team. Let me put it this way, Nathan. It's her race to lose at this point.
I am seeing, it's crazy both ways. Whitney's coming in with a little bit of a comment, and it's crazy both ways because you can make up a ton of time on the tarmac through the aero section. But as we've seen, we saw a solid 45 to 50 seconds close down just last race on the gravel bike as well. So it's
Right.
so close. Like, make your choices, right? Which one do you think you're going to get the most out of? High speed, super power tarmac or a grind up the climb?
So
Play your
that,
cards.
that creates a great question, Nathan. Do you play to the bike that's in your strengths and really try to pour it on, or do you try to help yourself in your weakness, right? And we've talked a lot about the gravel bike, the Tron bike, the road bike. Well, I think we've really learned that the gravel bike is the bike that you want for the finale. The strongest riders, like Kristen Kolchinski, she rode gravel all the way to the finish and ended up having one of the most dominant solo wins that we've seen in ZRL's history. But is that the gravel bike or is that Kristen Kolchinski? It's a little bit of gravel bike. It's a lot of Kristen Kolchinski in my mind. And ultimately out here now, this is all heart from Tracy Moore, our leader in green. And at this point now, I don't think she's coming back. She's kept Connolly at 20 seconds, and Connolly has a distinct advantage, as Whitney Post was pointing out. Connolly, if she didn't bring that gap back by the bottom of the climb, well, she's run out of real estate. We're back in for a sprint with the men here now. So, did the guys get caught?
17, 18 seconds up still. It's still
17 seconds.
Yeah,
There we
it's
go.
got brought
So,
back down with that sprint. Nystrom backing off now a little bit, though. It'll be interesting to see if they continue on. It's splitting up again behind here as we do see Elephant now. Homer as well.
So, Nathan, if you think about it, though, this effort from Jurisic and Moog for Oh My God, They Killed Kenny has collected a lot of points along the way because they just picked up another 19 going under that arch here. So for anybody who's joining us here for the final race of our community season, these points come at you fast and furious out here. We've got multiple KOMs for the women QOMs, and then our sprints as well, fastest through segments. And these points tally up quite quickly. And I have to think right now that, oh my God, They Killed Kenny is playing with the house's money out here as we're going to go back in and check out what's happening with the women. This is your leader, Tracy Moore. Canadian is on a great day today. And take a look at those numbers over there on the right-hand side of your screen. As you can see that she's still making the watts necessary. Joy Connolly back out to 22 seconds. I think it's fair to say that Tracy Moore has put on a command performance today here on McCurry Islands. This countryside tour course is really for the strong racers. You've got to be an all-around talent. And Tracy Moore, welcome to the big time.
Connolly now putting a little bit of heat on, 4 watts per kilogram. Wonder if she's saving anything, but it's a little bit too little too late as they head into the gravel as she's on that Tron bike. 22 seconds back. So really all advantage does go to Moore with not a whole lot of landscape left until they do hit that section of course. Connolly at 2.9 watts per kilogram and Moore, a full watt per kilogram more, is going to be walking away with this one. Now behind there is the DDC crew looking to round out the top 4, 5, and 6. That will be still points on the board, but Moore's going to grab a solid 50 here, it looks like, barring anything for that Cadence Broomwagon team.
Yeah, this is a team sport with individual glory. It's cycling is so unique, and certainly now that DDC team who've been just phenomenal out here in multiple different divisions as well. But we're back in now with our two leaders, the guys holding up. Wow, the advantage has gone back out now to 25 seconds from Jurisic and Moog back to the reduced peloton that's chasing. And I think it's fair to say at this point, they've run out of real estate as well. 43.3 kilometers of racing today. Last 2.5 is significant climb. That last 2.5 kilometers is about 5 minutes, which is a real marker for racers out here. Your 15-second power, your 1 minute power, your 5 minute, and your 20 minute. I think those are the four big ones that we look at. And the 5 minute power is the name of the game for these guys now. And Nathan, I think that these two are in really good shape.
Yeah, it does look like it. I think they're going to be able to take this out, no problem whatsoever. I mean, the only thing is if there is some sort of pent-up effort from some of these riders who are also on gravel bikes, I could see OTR Hayes maybe jumping across with, some of anything kind of saved up at this point if they've been sitting on perhaps with riders like Nystrom, Van der Veen here also on some of these riders that are on Trons or some sort of road bike or something, I really think that maybe Bishop and Hill, as well as we saw with Schaefer, very strong riders, they might have enough left in the tank because Jurisic and Mog have been off the front for a lap and a half at this point almost, right? Almost a full lap essentially, and they're going to have a half a lap. So 28 seconds is a lot, but if anybody in here's got 67 watts per kilogram, because that's what they had to do to get that gap is 67 watts per kilogram over the top. Anybody save something for the finish? We'll see, hey?
Yeah, and it's not over till it's over, but I really do like their chances. They're on the right bikes, they've got the right motivation, and they've got a little bit of help. They can relay each other. So
they might just be the stronger riders. They might just be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the cream has risen to the top, and and you know what? That's why we have them race all the way to the finish line, though. We don't decide races with 5K to go and say, forget it, they won. We're going to make them race all the way to the line. And you're right, Nathan. You never do know. We've seen some spectacular implosions on that last climb as well. But I don't think that these guys are in any trouble here as this gap continues. I mean, it's gone out now to 32 seconds. So, back in with Tracy Moore, the just Canadian on that broom wagon. So here we go. She's into that, what we were talking about. It all goes down right here.
2.5.
At 26 seconds, she has enough time to stop and have a cup of coffee on this climb, I think.
Make a bike swap over to a TT bike real quick. just Connolly now on the chase. Going to actually slow down here. Salthouse on a gravel as well. I think she's going to be able to hang easily, keep any chasers off of her wheel. At 128 back. Long day in the saddle for this B category. Look at this. 1 hour and 13 minutes of racing so far. They're going to be out here for a solid almost hour and a half of racing.
Have we done a longer race than this time-wise? I don't think so. This is certainly in the top 3 all time as far as duration of time in the saddle. Well, it's almost over now. 2K to go for our leader, Tracy Moore. Yeah, a big win for Cadence. Nice way to end the season. Huge win for Cadence.
It really is. It is. It's a great win for Cadence. It's good to see. We saw this also from Laura Thompson, didn't we? Earlier on in the season.
I wonder what happened with Laura. That's in the middle of the race. We saw a sprint where Laura all of a sudden had a technical right at the line, and I'm thinking she was making so many watts that maybe she collapsed the power grid in Canada. I know they're having trouble up in Vancouver today. I saw that
Actually, all over the world,
up in the
all over
Pacific
the
Northwest.
world, we're having, yeah, exactly, because that's where the servers are. So a lot of the servers that the rest of the world depends on are hanging out in that area.
I think that's
So
might have been what hit us with our VMix earlier today.
I think it
Actually,
is. We
was
actually had trouble going live earlier, and all of our servers were down in order to get things to get going with connecting to each other. So it wasn't just WhatsApp and Instagram and all and Facebook, etc., that were struggling today. Snapchat, I heard as well. There were the servers everywhere. Everything was down. Somebody hit the power grid with the wattage cottage, and it was over.
it all started when I broke my light earlier today.
we pre pre pre-production.
Pre-show.
All of a sudden, we. What was that day? Okay, a
Yeah,
little bit too
I was-
much
I was
information.
unhappy.
TMI, we're giving you TMI. Dave was very unhappy. Very unhappy with the situation.
Well, I
We got
hate breaking new equipment. Yeah.
40
All right,
seconds.
well-
You were right, Dave. There's no way this is coming back. Everyone's just infighting. They don't got even close to the wattage, it looks like, that these front runners do.
So many points at the finish. So not only have they been collecting the preem points or the bonus points, but they're going to get 50 and 40 at the finish here as well. 50 for the winner, 40 for second, 35 for third. So they haven't had the lion's share of points. They've had the dragon's share of points. They are not leaving crumbs on the table. This is going to go down as an, oh my God, they killed Kenny, a command master class today in how you do this. Right bike, right effort, great team energy, and that's the name of the game. They're
We
down to
haven't
one
actually
and a half
seen this
K.
work before either. This like breakaway situation on gravels with two teammates off the front and then actually be able to hold off a charging pack. Now, the reality of the charging pack that they had behind them, though, is there were not many road bikes in there. There was only 2 or 3, I think. So I think that was the reality, is that they just were able to work against a common bike at the same speeds and just put out more power, work together in a team time trial type, well, 2-up team time trial.
McCurry Islands Countryside Tour, Nathan, this has got to become an instant classic after the racing we've seen over the last couple of days. Playoffs coming up next for all of our teams in the community to see who can get that promotion, riders that are looking for that promotion. I did not realize that, oh my God, they killed Kenny, had the Yenzi Fondo on their jersey. Good
that's
camera
their
work
go-to.
there.
That's their go-to, is the NZ.
That's the Marin County, where that, I assume it's still going on. Obviously, COVID really disrupted a lot of the Fondos, and Northern California has had more than their fair share of wildfires, and it's been tough, no doubt about it, when you look at putting on events up in NorCal lately.
Sherpa Dave is saying he's not seen a race yet where the road bike done serious damage at the end. Didn't a road bike win in the
They didn't see
men's?
Mateus DeRoos win then.
Yeah, DeRoos
Mateus
won.
DeRoos won on a road bike. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sorry, Sherpa Dave. I'm a big fan, but I gotta say Mateus proves that wrong.
Kappa just proved it all wrong. It was the Kappa.
Blame the
Made
Kappa.
that. Yeah, blame the Kappa, Dave. As Jurisic here looks to attack his teammate, I think he's getting a little bit scared about 27 seconds to Oliphant, perhaps. But really doesn't have anything to worry about. They're within 1K to go. That ain't going to come close to it here. Will Mog come across? Jurisic, I don't think, has the better sprint. Mog has the better sprint, actually. Jurisic has a really high watt per kilogram, but I think Mog has the better sprint. I'm not positive about that.
I have a feeling that this, well, I agreed completely. And Mog might be showing us some class as well, allowing the 16. Well, you know what? I don't even want to say that. But certainly this 16-year-old has made his mark today. I'm not going to say he's being gifted the win, but I don't think these two want to fight either.
Looks like Mog's got a solid 14.8.
You don't want to get in a fight with a 16-year-old. Let's put it that way. You'll lose every time, right?
Jurisic got 16.7. My mistake, actually. I was going to the line with him and was like, oh, I can do this in a race a little bit while ago. And I thought Mog had the better sprint of the two, but I was wrong. Looks like Jurisic's going to drop his teammate off and take it down by 10 seconds.
This is a nice win here today, as this is done and dusted. Season 4, or I should say season 1 of 21-22 is now done and dusted as Jurisic takes the win. Mog for silver. Oh my God, they killed Kenny. Absolutely crushed the final day of racing for this season. Next up, playoffs for oh my God, they killed Kenny. Oliphant, oh boy, going to the line here. And it looks like Schaefer is just going to get the better of him here.
Oliphant really, I think, threw down everything he had to get that gap, and Schaefer had still a little bit of a kick to the line.
It's a lapped rider, actually, that we were seeing there. Some traffic they're going through.
Ian Mulligan, nice job from Fred. I feel like I see a bunch of runners out here.
Mulligan wants to do it again.
As they continue
I'm sure
on.
He's heard that joke so many times in his life, right?
In with Moore, she's about to make her way through the line. Nice job
Actually,
to the Cadence rider. This is a huge win for Cadence. Connolly, a full 119 back at this point. Kat Sutthulse is actually chasing her down, it looks like.
Well, Tracy Moore, you are on my radar. That is for sure. As the broom wagon Cadence rider delivers an outstanding performance here in Japan. Virtual Japan.
I was going to say, how do you know the riders in Japan? Why? How did you know riders in Japan?
That's where the Kappa lives. That we know
now.
Now.
Speaking of, we need to see
Slovakia.
What's happening with the Kappa.
So it looks like we're going to be bringing in our top 10. So that it's going to be Joy Connolly, then Kat Salthouse, and then we'll be looking back. So, I mean, this has been such a hard day. There are still some riders that are 29 minutes away from finishing. Yikes.
Going to be a long day in the saddle. They've 2 hours of racing. Nice job to everybody for finishing up so far. We'll head on over and take a look at some of the results as some of these ladies start to come on in.
So unfortunately for Laura Thompson, if you don't finish, you don't get the points that you earned.
Yep.
It's like
which is so frustrating.
It is. I mean, she didn't quit the race. She had a technical for sure. There's a huge difference there.
She had put in a huge effort up to that point.
She was doing great. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So that's 100%. A tough break for sure. It's such a big difference.
And then Kat Salthouse is going to be the next one to come across the line for our top 3. We'll see.
I wonder what Peter's talking about there. Peter
we're
Bog.
just gonna we're gonna leave that one alone. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, do you know?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
We'll just leave.
All right.
That one alone.
So this is going to be it. Last 100 meters. The bridge takes you right up to the finish line. This is going to be Kat Salthouse finishing a strong day out on course. Done and done. This is going to be Gallagher that we're looking at now for the DDC team. So we're just about there, bringing home our women's peloton after a long 8-race season.
Yeah, solid rides here all around. As they bring things on in, Gallagher here, Steele, Holt. It's going to be Boyer there as well, Hines and Smith. So that is going to be out to the almost top 10 with another.
Let's go 30 deep.
And 500.
We saw some earlier races where the riders finishing in 25th, 26th place made the difference for their team to make it into the playoffs. So sometimes an overused expression, every rider counts, but every rider counts out here. Every point matters.
Gallagher just crossing. Steele and her AVRT teammate right behind her as Holt looks to chase that down. Great job.
You know that they did a great job setting up the point structure when you have so many races ending up so close. With so many points on offer, it just tells you that it's been well designed.
DDC ATP.
All right, bring it home.
From Hines. Smith then going to be the next. So nice job. Just really wanted to highlight each one of the ladies in this top 10. Mitchell's going to round it out for him. Quijada here off the back still. Way to fight back into that top 11 because she had a mechanical early on. So great job to her. All right, let's go ahead and jump across and take a look at the results, though, in the men's race for the A's. As we saw earlier, was Isaac Jurisic taking it down for OMG. Solid ride there, Dave.
16 years old, making way more power out there than every other rider. Isaac, you're the man. It's Peter Mogg, his teammate, the Canadian, in second. So, oh my God, they killed Kenny. Really just ran the show out there today. It's on the rivet Hayes, OTR Hayes, with Patrick Schaefer finishing with the bronze medal in third. Aiden Oliphant for Fred AF in fourth. Graham Hill. So, two more OTR Hayes riders in fifth and sixth. As you can see, Graham Hill, the Canadian, Brian Bishop, the American. Then back to Fred AF and Ian Mulligan in seventh. Jeffrey Homer in eighth for OMG. They killed Kenny. Fred AF has Karsten Ivany there, the Canadian, in ninth. And from Costa Rica, Philippe Nystrom. For oh my God, they killed Kenny, putting 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God, they killed Kenny riders in the top 10, including first and second. That's how you do it, boys.
The Bees still hanging out there. There, Andrew Connolly there coming for OTR Force. It's going to be Felix Elbow there for second place for OTR Force as well in the C category. Eric Hamlin for Dirty Rascals Affogato there. Egon Landy there also for Affogato. It's going to be Andrew Drews Affogato, and it's going to be Aaron Spivak there for the BPCC Badgers of Honor. Thane Phillips Zedson Spot. Jude Dooling Zedson Spot. And Adam Bell. That is the situation there in the C category. In the D's, it's Lemon at the top.
Yeah, Tosin Akinmasuru for Cryogen Mount Lemon, taking the win. Eric Nywert for second for Herd of Powerful Pronghorns. It's Cryogen Mount Lemon again with Leslie Arnett. So Leslie is a name that you can't be sure of the gender, but I think that might be a woman getting up there in our mixed men's D's. I'm pretty sure that would be the case, and that's becoming less and less rare. Nathan, seen it a few times today. Matthew Ferrier in fourth for Dirty Rascals, the diaper changers. In fifth is Matthew Kappelman. So Dirty Rascals diaper changers, that's the Dad's Indoors Riding Trainers group. Thousands of riders on that team. And they had a great ride today with two in the top five. It's going to be Orosish Mohapatra of the out of India on the Bahubali team, seeing more and more riders from India participating in esports, and that's awfully cool to see. Scott Uresta of Mount Lemon CryoGen team in seventh. It's Kent Smith in eighth for the Herd of Powerful Pronghorns, and his teammate Scott Whitney in ninth, and another Indian rider, Beshan Singh, for ISRT Bahubali in 10th. And I should add, Scott, that's Japan, I have to think. The rising sun there?
Yeah,
or
I believe
is
it
it?
is. I believe
Okay.
it is. I think you're right there.
I mean, I know
Brian
that
Diddy,
Japan is the rising sun and their flag is white with the red circle, but
I think you're correct there. Brian Diddy for TFC Pickle Juice, followed up by Brian Larson, Red Peloton B, and then Scott Adams. Crane Nunes, I think this is going to update any moment now, as it is a long race for these boys as well. 38 seconds back, 110. And they're just about to come across the line. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the ladies, though, as they have finished up as well. Oh, there it is, actually. Excuse me. It's going to be Darren Boyd for On the Rivet Zeal Breakers. Tristan Whitehead, followed up by KRT for KRT Big Timbers there. Dave Trill as well for KRT Big Timbers. Joe Bartlett there. And then Craig Brunsnick there. That is your top 9 here for the men's B division here. In with the women's situation, we saw Tracy Moore, Joy Connolly, Kat Salthouse, Julie Gallagher there for DDC, Jennifer Steele for Alto Vito Tunitas, Sue Lynn Holt also for Alto Vitas Tunita. It's going to be CJ Boyinger there for the Dutch Diesel Cycling Zena, Lisa Hines for ETP Racing Vest, but Andy Smith and Diane Mitchell Prey. That is the B category for the women's America's West Division 1. And in the C's, Dave, we got the last 2 boards of the season.
yeah, all Canada. As they knocked up today, Brittany Keskinen for the Queen Bee Coalition from GSZ taking the win. I guess that would be GSZ if you're in Canada. Christine Barr for silver, riding for the Herd of Misfit Meerkats. And then back to the GSC Queen Bee Collection and Leanne LeBlond for the bronze. Carrie Bartlett, Herd of Misfit Meerkats. She'll be fourth. Marcy Varley, fifth. And then Whitney Stidham for Dutch Diesel. And look at this, Dutch Diesel controlling the rest of our leaderboard here with Tammy Taylor, Gail Matherly, Sarah Northway, a couple Australians here, and summertime. I feel like that's not a real name.
We'll have to wait and see here. No D category out here today. Real quickly before we go, everybody, we did get requests to show what's happening. Zwift Racing chase races are coming up featuring a new AutoCat system powered by WTRL. That's starting November 24th
Tomorrow.
of this month.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, no, 1 week. 1 week. That's gonna be next week.
1 week, right?
Yeah, and then Team Fearless Championship is happening on December 11th. Make sure to sign that up for that if any women's teams. I think so. I'm not sure. Registration, I have to go and check that out. It should be open, and I think that's exactly why we are showing this. Head over to WTRL.racing, and let's go ahead and take a look at this as well. World Bicycle Relief number 138, going to raise some money, and it's going to be an awesome benefit. Depending on how much money you raise, it's going to help out with the results. Legion, SARS, some challenges out on the table. Make sure to check that out. Also, head over to WTRL.racing for that. For number 138. That's all the events that are coming up. Obviously, we're going to be on for the TTT this week as well. Dave, what a season. Done with ZRL. Playoffs next week. And then we are going to have some champions. If you want some more results, head over to WTRL.racing to see everything for the season as soon as Martin and all the data do get updated. All the officiating needs to happen. And we'll see you next week for the team time trial and the WTRL on Thursday. As always, everybody, thanks a lot for hanging out. Hit those buttons to subscribe and do all the good things to help out the channel. And we'll see you in just a few days. As always, right on.